Rival Fate. I already inline barreled mine, or inline clipped mine, but I'm not talking about this. If you want to learn how to do that, so many people out there will tell you how to do it. Just big barrel in the back, taper it down to a tighter barrel, and there you go. But let's talk about the internals. So, the trigger, unfortunately, has a leaf spring. However, there are two spots right here of plastic supports where you could super glue an actual spring on the trigger or on the supports and have that be your helping hand in guiding the trigger back and forth if this ever wears out. Next up, we have this piece right here. This is what would clip on to the barrel when the barrel is closed, and they would both hook up right here. When you pull back on the T-pull, the plunger head will press on this nub over here, which would in turn lift this hook and let the barrel drop out in order to open up the top to chamber around. The thing about the plunger rod and the head, which it thankfully reaches all the way out here. There's no like dead space tapered end. It's all the way to the front. But unfortunately, the plunger head and the rod are sealed together. There is no screw point holding the head in place. So to throw in a better spring, even with the great stock spring, you will need to grab some pliers and just twist it off of the plunger rod if you want to throw in K25, K26, and beyond. So minus that little gripe, the biggest benefit here is that just like the Fire Strike and any other Nerf blaster as they should be, this is an actual floating catch with an actual spring to it. So you can upgrade the spring, you can upgrade the catch spring, and this blaster will hold thanks to the very thick shell of the Rival line in general. Overall, onto here, I guess I'll give some more insight onto the Inline Clip Mod. There was wings on here, and on the other side, it would be symmetrical. And there was another support rod and a plastic piece running in between the two. Those were basically just stoppers to A, keep the barrel aligned, and B, stop the barrel from falling out of the blaster, of course. For the Inline Clip Mod, in order to have the breech open up wide enough for short darts, I cut off the wings and I cut off the front cylinder support and the plastic piece right here. I kept the rear one because the barrel rides on a track located right here. So if you were to remove the entire supports, the barrel could run the risk of literally just sliding out. The only thing that would probably stop that would be a return spring. Unfortunately, the return spring, which pulls the barrel open on the Fate, is way too long that it will stop the barrel from opening up completely to chamber short darts. So finding a shorter return spring or removing it like I did will give you the opportunity to have this thing just gravity drop open when you pull back on the T-pull. So overall, that's a good look into the blaster. The only lock I removed was the trigger lock. However, I did keep the switch on the other side of the shell just to fill in that dead space on the right side of the shell. Overall though, this blaster is very simple, even with the auto opening system, and it is very, welcoming to mods, save for, of course, the sealed plunger rod assembly. I guess the last thing I should mention is that the air restrictor, which was located here, is screwed in on the back side over here. So literally, if you have a screwdriver long enough, you could put it down here, undo that screw, and the entire AR will just fall out. No cutting or no grinding needed. I left this rear cage of the plunger head assembly in order to prevent vacuum loading, and the dead space from plunger head to that, AR support is literally a ½ inch or less. But because of how wide this barrel diameter is to connect to the breech, it's honestly not worth trying to fill in that dead space. So yeah, the Fate is a big win, minus, the tedious task of having to replace the spring if you really want to. But overall though, even with the stock spring and the inline clip, I am hitting around 120 with the 3-dart inline. Single shots for sure I can see 150 being hit.